This is officially the trade deadline edition of Warriors Plus Minus.
I know. The urgency, the magic, the chemistry. It's all happening.
As Patrick McCall walks
I was going to
by.
say, I was waiting for you to say something.
This is Marcus Thompson with Tim Kawakami. We are at the Warriors facility.
Right outside the practice court with actual players
Full disclosure.
walking back and forth.
Full disclosure, we were supposed to get a player. But I think Oklahoma City took their will to talk to the media. So it's just me and Tim, but we've got something to talk about. Lots to talk about. Tomorrow is the NBA trade deadline, and for the first time in years, the Warriors look like they could really use a trade.
Yeah,
right? When's the last time?
Yeah,
right?
I can't remember when I've thought in a while when I thought, geez, maybe they should make a move. Like, let's see, they got things they have to improve. With just like a minor piece could improve them. Before it's like, they make a minor move, whatever. But this is, and they haven't. This is like, a guy who could shoot a little bit on that second unit could be interesting for the playoffs. Well, maybe the last time was how did they add Jordan Crawford? Yeah, was that a trade? Was that a trade? Yeah, that was the same thing. Like that's a guy that you thought, okay,
Jordan Crawford.
Wasn't
Steve Blake in there?
Yeah, it was that Blake and all. They flipped around a bunch of stuff. I can't even remember who they would have traded, but that was the last time at the deadline they added players.
That was 2014.
For the Clippers series. Yep. 2014 playoffs. Mark Jackson.
Jordan Crawford.
He went off in that Game 7, right?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So I'm going to throw out some names, and you tell me if you think they'll be a good fit.
Okay.
This one's probably my fave. Tyreke Evans.
Yeah, I've grown more thinking that would be a fit as the days go on. But I don't think they're going to get him because I don't think they got enough to give up. But I think a guy who could create his own shot and hit threes and is 6'5", that would be a nice second unit. If he was happy with it, if he understood that it could increase his value because he's going to be a free agent, he's a former Bob Myers client. He's not the Kerr offense type, right? He's not the move the ball, cut, screen.
But that's not what they need.
They don't really need
the opposite
they need
of
a guy
that.
who can give them this. Nick Young isn't that, although they thought he might be, and he's not giving them anything like that. And so maybe a guy can go hunt his own shot who wants to take the shot. They just need a guy who wants to take the shot on that second unit. And they don't really have that except for one guy. It's Clay. And he's not getting great shots. So I think that guy would fit Tyreke Evans. I just don't think they can get him.
They can't.
This is going to be a recurring theme.
It's going to take the number one pick to get him.
Yeah.
And they're not giving up the number one pick.
And if someone else bids their number one, which is going to be higher than the Warriors,
which is practically the Warriors' number one pick is a high second round pick.
I was telling the coach today that they should just start tanking. Let's just make your pick more valuable. This is silly that you're going to be drafting 30th. Try to get that 16th pick.
I mean, side note, is it? I mean, they want a pick, right? But 30, you're locked in for 4 years. Why not?
But they want that. Well, they want that because you're locked in. It costs certainty, with a player, and they feel like they've gotten McCaw and Bell later. They can do even better. We'll see. It does not look like they're going to move that pick, and if they don't move that pick, I don't know what they're going to get. I just don't. We'll go another name. I happen to think Marco Bellinelli would be a great fit. Big contract. You'd have to put Nick Young into the deal. They'd have to want Patrick McCaw. You'd have to probably put your one because he's a pretty decent player. Atlanta Hawks are stripping down. I don't think they're going to put the number one in, though. I think that would be the problem for them because they're just renting Bellinelli. He's not going to play for him next year. And I don't think they think they're good enough this year where they can get through with this without putting that number one pick in because they know they need cost certainty out of good players once all these other contracts really start kicking in.
What about Avery Bradley?
Yeah. Avery Bradley would be really.
All of these guys aren't going to go for a number one pick.
Exactly, and McCaw and whatever. I'm not sure Bradley fits perfectly because of the cost, and I'm not sure he's a defensive-minded player, which is good, but is that what you need with that second unit? I think, listen, would they play him if he was on this team? You betcha they'd play him. And
it looked like they could have used him last night.
They could use him last night. They could use him anytime. He could go, if Westbrook's getting off even on Clay, then you have him go guard. Yeah, absolutely. It's just he's a value that they don't have enough to add up to get to him, and that's a team and a consultant that may not be in love with trading him to the Warriors. So they don't want him to go to another team that's going. They might play in the playoffs for sure. Like you can imagine him going to Oklahoma City, but
if they were smart,
yeah. I just don't see the Warriors. That's one guy I really don't see the Warriors having enough ammunition to get. He would be fine. I don't think he's the exact fit, but he's just another good player. Then that's at the point, and they get using another good player on that second unit.
Yeah,
is McCaw behind me? By the way?
No, it was Steve Kerr. It was Kerr, but I think Bradley, against the Warriors, he seems to shoot better. And there's a couple games in that Cleveland series where it's like he can get you some buckets, and I don't know.
Marcus Smart went crazy for
exactly.
I mean, I don't think that's a guy, by the way.
I think you need a guy who can get you some buckets. Yeah. That's what you need. Like a defender is great if you can get him, but what they need is a guy who can come in and score.
Because they've got Livingston, they got Iguodala, they got Draymond, they got Clay, and they got West. If you just take out one of those pieces and have him be a scorer, the other guys can make up for the defense.
Absolutely.
I think is a general idea.
Question.
The general idea.
And somebody who can hunt their own shot and who can create their own shot and a low-maintenance scorer. Not like a Omri Caspi who clearly needs 58 screens to get enough time. Right?
And even then,
he doesn't pull the trigger. Fake and go. They need a guy who's like, man, I don't need to tell you anything.
Caspi standing right behind you.
Yes, I hope so.
Yes. And in my one thing that I have noted, I'm the only one who notes this, is now that they have to play Livingston with a second unit, which they did not in the postseason last year, he can't play the end of the first and third quarters with Steph, and I think that helps Steph, that he's not the whole quarter, he's not the only guy with the ball. Livingston helps him out at the end of the first and third. Now they have to take him out because Nick Young, and I better watch myself, Nick Young and McCaw aren't playable with Steph right now because they take down that whole unit. Kirk tries it. So you can need Livingston with the second quarter, fourth quarter unit, and that just takes him out of, and that kind of limits his effectiveness.
It might be worth it to just put him with Steph anyway, because
he
always does that. It was Barbosa.
Yep. I think Steph likes that. Yeah, Steph likes that.
You might as well just do it because
in a way that Nick Young and McCaw don't. And that's what they're getting. That's who they're having to throw out there.
It's another ball handler. So speaking of which, side note, I did talk to Caspi about
the shooting. What is
I just asked him, I was like, how have you only taken 18 shots and you've 18 threes and you've made half of them? But he was saying it was very interesting, and this is where he's not new to the league. He was saying it's hard for him to just come in and hoist threes, and you've got to have a certain switch. He did reference. He's like Nick Young has it, where you can just come in and shoot. And he's like, the way he was taught basketball is you start inside and you work your way out to three. And he's got to kind of train his brain to think like, I'm just coming and hoist, just shoot it. But his confidence isn't there right off the bat.
Yep.
But the problem is, dude, you got 2 minutes and maybe two shots.
Exactly.
Right?
Or else he's not like he's locking down somebody on the
right?
other side. Like, we'll give him extra minutes.
Yeah, because it's not like you get 15 minutes.
We're running the offense through Caspi here. It's interesting, weird thing is they literally just need him to shoot threes. Just everything else is fine. Shoot threes, make threes, and he's not playable. McCaw is not playable to some extent. They're playing Nick Young, even though he's weak at everything else, because he can make threes. It's just weird.
He'll at least shoot them.
Yeah,
he'll at least get them up.
This is an all-around team that loves all-around play, has all these all-around players. But what do they need right now? Somebody just step out there and shoot threes. These are players that I don't love. I've ripped them, like Marcus Thornton or whoever.
Your guys.
Ramon Sessions, who's just a shooter. But I'm not saying any of those guys the Warriors are going to take. But that kind of player on an elevated level, they sure could use that. They really could use that. They just don't have anybody doing that right now, even though they thought they were adding two of them with Nick Young and Caspi, and it just hasn't happened consistently.
I wonder what it would take for them to get Lou Williams.
They just re-signed. You see that? Yeah, 3 years, 24. Right, it's done. That is over. By the way,
that's right, because they just.
If Nick Young, if Lou Williams, who's having an incredible year, is only worth $8 million a year, what are these upcoming free agents going to get?
Nobody's getting money.
Nothing. They're getting nothing.
Nobody's getting money.
They're getting the biannual. There's going to be a splurge for somebody. Again, Patrick McCaw walking back and forth here. I'm going to watch. What is Patrick McCaw going to get on a restricted free agent market?
Which is why you keep him.
Yeah, which is why they are going to keep him.
If this is an anomaly year, and if he looks like a guy last year for $5 million, now you've got a deal.
Yeah, but they're not going to give him $5 million.
No,
he's going to get $4 million.
Remember, we were talking about does he get $8 million?
I know. Well, from the beginning, what was I saying then? By the way,
you were saying 12.
No, I was saying what are people talking about? What are they talking about?
You were saying 12. Is there anything that would make you think J.R. Smith would be good on this team?
Well, yeah. I mean, I could theoretically see it, but he can't shoot anymore, which is a slight problem because that's all he does. Right? He can't shoot anymore. I don't know how you possibly could say, gee, it'd be perfect on this team. No, I wouldn't. I think he's got how much more on his contract? He's not young.
LeBron really worked all those dudes to get new deals.
Tristan Thompson. No, I would. Hey. I was actually thinking, let's see, Kevin Love. Would Kevin Love be a fit on? No. But it did streak through my mind. That's if he's got a broken hand too, though, so you probably wouldn't trade for him.
A guy who I think would, he probably fits in the same mode as Avery Bradley, or it's like you probably don't need him, but if you got him, he would definitely play. Kenton Bazemore.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they know him.
Yeah.
And I think number 30 likes him a little bit. But he might shoot you out again. I mean, he's crazy that way. So they could use that athleticism. You saw the other team was way more athletic than them last night. They could use the length, but I don't know that that's a guy you're going to throw with that second unit. He would be an interesting play with those guys. And what's he making? Like 9, 10?
Oh yeah, he's got like at least $35 million left on his deal.
No way. They're not doing anything like that. Because there's somebody they want in the future. I'm trying to think who it is. There's somebody, someone might have written about. Yeah, I'm sure.
LeBron, that's what it is. I mean, look, last night never looked more like, they need Anthony Davis.
Yes, this is why. It's exactly. Somebody who gets some different kinds of
shots. They looked like
we
kind of got to get Anthony Davis.
They play the same way. And this is a little bit like Lacob was talking about to me a month and a half ago. It's like they've been playing the same way for 3+ years now, and it doesn't always last that you play the same way with the same players, and sometimes it just gets exaggerated, and they just really play that way, and they don't have any versatility. They could use a guy who plays different, and that's the guy that, it could be different. It could be Paul Millsap. It could be some other guy. The ultimate target, though, is a guy who can do both things, shoot outside, shoot inside, and that's Anthony Davis.
What do you think about Greg Monroe, who was moved? Yeah. I know he fits in your category of guys you don't like.
I do not like him. Yeah.
But the one thing he can do is get you buckets inside.
He can, but
he's going to give them right back.
And also you have to stop the offense.
And he was clearly available.
Yeah. They're not going to add another limited center. They got again. I better watch my back here. They got enough of those. And at some point, Zaza's just going to power slam me out here. I have a feeling. And he's a limited center who stops the ball, frankly. To get those buckets, he's got to isolate. And that's what they're not going to. The whole offense is built on not doing that. That's why they have the centers they have. None of them need to touch the ball. None of them. So, no, I would not say Greg Monroe.
The big man who I think would be good, like obviously Anthony Davis is your center if you get him. But I think Kyle O'Quinn would be great.
Supposedly
on this
team. They were. Did you start that rumor, by the way? Is that the one you started? Because he just got traded.
Supposedly
they were interested in him. I don't.
That's the guy that I thought they should have went and got.
But
if you're going to get a center.
How many centers are they going to have on the roster?
You probably got to make. You got
to trade 3 of them to get him.
You got to give up a couple.
They still have too many.
You had to give up a couple.
They got Jordan Bell.
I think if you put him on this roster, he ends up your starting center.
Yeah, probably. But what do you have to give up to get him? You're giving up a first round. I mean, it's just one of those things where it never made sense because they've got all these centers who they're just trying to get something out of. You just ride with them. And if Jordan Bell was healthy, it might be a different conversation altogether. If he was improving and healthy, he'd be an interesting player in a game like last night's, by the way.
Marcin Gortat, apparently on the market.
No.
You take him over Zaza?
I would, but you're not exactly getting him for Zaza, by the way. It's going to take a lot.
I mean, if they're just trying to dump his contract.
Yeah,
but that's going to explode that tax bill even more.
No. There's going to be nothing that they get is ever going to be, wait a minute, it's going to screw them in the future. They're not doing that because if they do nothing, they're going to pay a ton of money. And if they want to change, it really is they don't want money on their.
Is a guy who intrigues me. I don't know if he can shoot. He makes a couple shots here and there with the Warriors. He just does a lot of things. Mo Harkless.
Yeah, he's not a reliable scorer.
No,
but
I think they need a scorer though.
Yes, he's their kind of player. Yes. I think in multiple positions. Guard can play the 4. Can even fake the 5, I think, at times. Shoot the shot sometimes, but no, they need somebody much more dynamic offensively than that to make a difference on this team. Like if they wanted to flip it around, he's a guy who could be a 7th, 8th man on this team, but I don't think he'd make a huge difference on a second unit going into the playoffs. I don't see it. It's the type they need is one of those guys that they've avoided. Is that Jordan Crawford,
Tyreek Evans,
yeah. And they've avoided those players. And when you have one thing,
just go and get Will Barton and then it's done.
Will Barton would be so good.
Just
for
go
them.
Get Will Barton and it's done.
Good. Like
go get Alec Burks.
Alec Burks
would be good.
Terrible defensive player, but it doesn't really matter for them.
No, you just need to come in and get buckets.
Just like you talked about with Caspi, he has got some block against coming in and shooting. Just get a guy who that's all they want to do.
That's it.
All they want to do.
This is their life.
You get 3 minutes, take 3 shots, you make one, make another, and then you're off the court
because of what they need, right? And we're talking about these players who the Warriors, they just don't fit the Warriors, right? They're not a Warriors. Tyreek Evans would not be a Warriors type of player. If we revisit this, do you want Jamal Crawford on this team? Totally not a Warriors player, but there's a guy who.
Yeah, but at what number? At what number?
Well, he's low, right?
Is he?
Yeah, he's low.
Okay.
He got bought out, or did.
I don't think they'd want him, but he would be interesting.
I mean, they had their chance.
Right now, in this moment.
Right now,
he would be somebody they would play because they got Nick. You're paying Nick Young 5.2, so I don't know that they can say absolutely no way would they want Jamal Crawford.
Like 4.
4, yeah. I mean, hey, you're paying Nick Young 5.2. Then Jamal Crawford at 4. I could see why they talked themselves into that Nick Young was a superior player, but that's not happened. That has not happened. I don't think Jamal Crawford saves them, but he would be an interesting for this very, very
just for
limited,
this one
limited thing we're talking about.
There aren't that many guys who can do this.
Yeah.
What we're saying they need.
Yeah.
Come in with David West, with Draymond Green,
Andre,
and come get a bucket.
Yep.
No strings attached. No, we're not gonna do a bunch of work, and you're not gonna get.
And
that
also,
many
you've
minutes.
got Durant and Steph on the bench looking at you. I think that put some pressure on some guys. It's like, hey, you got these 2 MVPs sitting there. You're coming in there while they're out.
We know it puts pressure when you're on the court with them.
Yes,
right.
We've seen it. We can see it. But Lou Williams. There's not that many guys. And if you get the wrong guy, it's bad. It's bad.
We're going to take a quick break to talk about our friends over at SeatGeek. Buying tickets to sports and concerts can be complicated and confusing, but there is a better way to buy with SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the smartest, easiest way to get tickets to every type of live event. Whether you're searching for a last-minute deal, planning a night out, or need to find the perfect gift, SeatGeek helps you find the best seats at the best prices, fully guaranteed. There's nothing quite like seeing your favorite team or musician in person, and SeatGeek will get you closer to the action for a great value. We here at Warriors Plus Minus have the SeatGeek app on our phone, and we find it's the easiest way to find and shop for tickets. SeatGeek is designed to make your ticket buying experience easier than ever. SeatGeek saves you time and money by searching multiple ticket sites to compare prices and find amazing deals. And to get you the most bang for your buck, SeatGeek grades every ticket based on value to help you immediately identify the best seat to fit your budget. Plus, every purchase is fully guaranteed, so you can shop for tickets on SeatGeek with confidence. Make SeatGeek your go-to app for finding the best deals on every type of ticket, from sports, concerts, comedy, theater. Best of all, our listeners get $20 off their first SeatGeek purchase. Just download the SeatGeek app and enter promo code PLUS today. That's promo code PLUS, P-L-U-S, for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase.
So, Marcus is nodding to people. I'm nervous that I got Bob Myers standing over my shoulder.
Trust me, if somebody walks by and I'm thinking I'm going to bait you into the question to rip them.
That's why when you started, there's Petra McCall walking out. He's going to say something right now. And then you say, I'm
just going to wait. So tell me, what are your true thoughts about Zaza?
What do you really think about
I'm going to look that way just so you can know he's behind you. Now, we've seen this a lot. I see it in comments popping up. Won't they just go get Monta?
Yeah. That's
just go get Monta.
Save the day. No.
Just go get Monta.
No. There's a reason why he's not in the league right now. There's just a reason.
Go get Monta.
He's not even in China. He's just out.
He's just out.
I don't know. That's not the guy they're going to get. That's not the Mr. Biographer of Steph Curry. Would Steph Curry approve of that one?
Oh yeah, he would.
Okay?
He would.
Okay.
He would. I mean, who would he not approve of? Really, it's like 3 dudes.
One of them, Oklahoma City.
Yeah, right. But it's like, I don't think. I don't think Westbrook might be the one guy who's like, nah. Like there would have to be some kind of.
Yeah, that's not going to be
something from Westbrook, and he's never going to give it, which means
no,
it will never be.
No.
Yeah, but I think Monta, you'd probably be like, hey, he probably actually like it.
Because
like,
it's
role reversal. Come on,
you try to kill me, and that's my first training camp.
Man. Yeah, sure. I'll welcome you into my kingdom. Yeah. Remember, you didn't welcome me. I'll welcome you.
No Monta Ellis. Andres Beatrice, I think, could be a key.
Beatrice can't be a key. Tony Allen.
You can't shoot. Can't shoot. I mean, just
I would never think of him, but watching how Westbrook just blew by every single person, and Patrick McCaw hasn't been able to guard like we thought he would be able to.
That wasn't just man-to-man defense. That was screens.
No
question. All the stuff. The overall defense has to get better. They're not. This is a team that won a series by not guarding Tony Allen.
By literally saying,
we are not.
Bogut, kind of pay attention to him.
But if he gets the ball, don't even go toward his direction. So
just watch him a little bit.
I don't see who came up with that one. Was that Ron Adams? That was Ron Adams. I just can't see those meetings. Let's go get Tony Allen. God, we just decided we won a series because we didn't guard him.
We're struggling. What are we gonna do? You know what? Let's just stop guarding Tony Allen.
Okay. Let's win 3 straight and go on the next round. No, I don't see it. And he's not as good now as he was then. Anyway.
Nah, and he's not really getting much action on the court. There are just not that many guys, which leads us to believe, are they fine if they don't make a trade?
Yeah, I think, we can all say they need somebody, but I don't see that exact fit right now, especially if they're not going to give up the number 1 pick, and I don't think they are.
Nor should they. They shouldn't.
This is what they got. They're okay. They've still got the best record in the NBA. They may not for much longer, but they're okay with that too. And we know what the change is in the playoffs. It's you move Durant onto that unit. They don't like doing it. It's grudging, but you put Durant on.
You also bring them dudes in early.
Well, so you're gonna bring Durant in. I mean, they did that anyway. Ian Clark got like 30 seconds with that unit in the tough games.
Ian Clark would be good.
Ian Clark would fit this team. Yes,
Ian Clark would be good.
He makes threes. This bench does not make threes, but. The switch is to get Durant.
What's Leandro Barbosa doing right now? You'd love that.
I know Kerr's probably texting him right now. Get him and Vergel back. Get the Brazilians.
I just watching this game last night, and I really thought this was a game where the Warriors would say, "All right, let's bring it this game."
Yep. I think they went into it thinking that.
No, I totally. They also went into Denver thinking that too. Like, we're not gonna let the back-to-back get us. We're gonna show you that we can conquer this. I just don't think they have it.
Yeah.
They just, not even physically, mentally, they don't have it. When you watch what Westbrook brought, and they can't match that. They just
Draymond can at some point, but then
I don't think he can right now. I think they need a break.
Yeah.
Because all of their driving forces are all internal now. Mm-hmm. There's no before it was I got to beat that guy. You guys doubt me. Mm-hmm. Nobody can even do that anymore. There's no question about them. Even when they lose, they're like, all right, but they're still going to win a championship. They don't have any outside driving for Westbrook's got it.
Yeah, well, no, Westbrook's got like 10 of it. 15 of it.
So they have to,
it's got to be pride.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's got to be pride at some point. It's not happened yet. But that's
a well you can't live on.
No, I agree.
Right? And you probably don't want to go to it until April.
Correct. I mean, listen, what is Andre? Where's his mind right now? There's a few guys you could just say, okay, are you going to do this or are you not? Because
that's all you got right now. Yeah, all right, the last hope is that you're going to get it together when it's time.
Because they can't, they're not replacing Andre Iguodala. That's not happening. He's being paid $16 million. There's not anybody else who can do what you hope he can do.
And the guy who you thought in McCall.
Oh, yeah, that's hurt them. Yeah, and that has not turned into this. So it's got to be Andre gets better because, he affects 2 units. He affects the second unit And he affects the Hamptons five. Yeah. And that's a pretty big deal that he's not playing well and he's hurting both essentially. That's just 14 minutes a game, 16 minutes of key basketball a game that he's a huge part of. More than that. And that there's nothing they can do about that except hope he's better. And I don't know if that, with him, it might be he got his big contract. He knows this is it. It partly might be he's tired. It partly might be he's just not aging very well. But there's nothing they can do about that.
But also part of it is he needs those other guys to play well.
Yeah.
Right? He if Steph is playing well and aggressive, then Andre looks a whole lot better.
Yep.
If Clay's playing well and Andre's looking better. And really he's always been great as the offense that kills you, right? Mm-hmm. The other guys are like bleeding you out. Andre's the offense that kill you. But when you need Andre's offense to hang in there, now you got a problem. And it's always been that way. He's the one that, hey, we've got all these adjustments for Steph and for Clay and for KD. Oh, and now this guy too? Mm-hmm. Well, when you don't have Steph do anything or Clay do anything or KD and you're like, Andre, you got to do something here. Like, that's never been him on this team. And
even maybe a little bit before.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be. It's not going to be him. So the easiest answer is to figure out how to get those guys going. Like, you can't come into a game like this and Steph is just – and they're doubling him and he's accepting it, he's passing out of it, and that's it. You just can't – you can't do that with – it just affects so much, and Andre is one of those guys. He's just not going to –
I mean, that's correct. I'm not disagreeing. I am. He does have to play better. Period.
No
question.
He does.
I mean, it just.
You can't he's getting in the lane,
and then not even thinking of shooting. And that's where I think they get 4 or 5 turnovers a game on that stuff.
He and Zaza just in the lane, they're at the rim,
and they're like, forget it. I can't do anything here, so let me just throw it off.
I mean, one of those guys, but 2 of them,
and sometimes Draymond.
Sometimes Draymond.
So.
At least Draymond will try to dunk somebody.
I mean, he will. He will dunk occasionally.
At least do that.
He does those. I'm in the lane. I'm stuck now. Well, Durant does it too. So
that is after watching them dudes get into the lane and just like Zaza, the sniper hits him, and he's like, and then he turned around like, you fouled me. Like, dude, you weren't even trying to shoot that.
That's when he starts going to the ground.
Yeah, right.
Here goes Zaza.
He's going down like.
Zaza. That's what, again, I'm not the largest JaVale fan, but I can understand why Warriors fans are going, at least have him. He
can at least take the ball from right here and dunk it.
He tries to do this stuff. There's something. He moves for the ball where the others are moving away from the ball.
And they don't want the ball. Starts have been a problem all year. Mm-hmm. And I don't care what anybody says about his rotation, his impact, whatever. Steve loves him, I know. Part of the reason for the start is you're playing 4-on-5 on offense. Like, that's just literally what it is. They're literally the Warriors pass to the open man, and they're forcing passes to Zaza.
Yep.
Like, that's part of it.
And that's what the defense is like.
Yeah, right. That's part of it. And now instead of getting 12 points in the first 5 possessions, you're getting 4. Yep. Right, and now you got to start making some threes, and if they don't start falling. Like, that's nothing.
What I do believe that leads to some of the turn. Now, it's been lazy, stupid passes for sure. But the extra ones, it's because they have to force stuff because their guys can't finish. So you have to throw the perfect pass, or you're zipping it across those diagonal passes through the lane that Paul George went. Thank you very much.
Because Paul George, they don't even pay attention to the roll, man. Yep. Like, they're running this roll, and Zaza, they're like, we're trying to bait you into giving it to him.
Yep.
Because they want him to catch it, and then they'll guard him. And meanwhile, Paul George is on the other side waiting for the weak side pass.
Because the Warriors are anticipating the weak side is going to cover for that, so they try to throw it to the guy across the court. Not happening.
Yeah, but they're not covering Zaza. They're not covering Zaza. They're not Looney. They're not covering Looney. Yep. He's better at it than Zaza, but they're not covering them.
Yep.
The only people, and even Draymond, they're letting him roam.
Andre. Like, we're listing a lot of guys who aren't being guarded, which is their issue.
The guy who makes them pay the most is David West, because he can at least hit the 15-footer, and he takes it. And if he gets 2 or 3 in a row, now you got to come out on it. Yep. But even then, he's not going to take that and then go and make a play.
No.
And Jordan Bell didn't do that either. No. So It's really Steph KD. That's the pick and roll right there. That's the
Draymond. When Draymond's going well, when he's playmaking, when he's attacking, he's not doing a lot. Again, and whether Draymond's hurt, that's
he's not the same.
Yeah, it's a whole other thing because he doesn't look the same. He has the same instincts. He doesn't look the same. And I don't know if that would ever affect his shooting. His shooting comes and it goes, but defensively, you can see him trying.
Like in the first quarter, he was like all over the place, and then Steve took him out. But you can tell it's like he has to say, all right, Draymond, let's go. Mm-hmm. And then let's build this up. But there's a limited pool there now of, all right, let's dominate. Yep. Before it was just, let's do it. This is what we do.
Here we go. Draymond.
Now it's like, all right, let's go. Yeah. And I got to summon this energy.
And also sometimes he summons the energy. He brings it, and there's no one else there with him.
Yes.
Like usually in the past years, Draymond gets it up, everybody's coming with him. Now.
Yeah, he blocks that mellow shot, and then Durant hits the three, and it's like, okay, here they go.
And then, no.
And then nothing from Steph, nothing from Clay.
Yep. Steph was passive last night. There's no question. He was passive. But
I don't know why he and Steve does that. Like, they're just content with him. All right, you're going to draw the double, you're going to pass. The other defense is saying, Steph, please pass the ball. Yep. And you guys are saying it, too. Like, we're going to run our offense. Like, no, don't. Let him get going first, make a few shots, and now that double, right? Now they're going to be a little frantic. They don't know what to do.
Well, the other
thing
is you want to get in transition, and they're not stopping.
And they're not. And you know what? They don't push the ball.
Nah. Well, they've been throwing it ahead so much, like crazily, and lose it. I think they're trying not to do that crazy throw ahead pass right now.
I mean, just dribble with some urgency, push it. Like Clay walks it up, KD walks it up. It's just like stop walking the ball up and just go. I don't think they just have that comfort in the open court. Nothing's just really
also
flowing.
Who speeds him up? Iguodala.
Iguodala does speed him up.
He tries. It's not the same. If you speed it up and the guy can't finish, that's
just go dunk it.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Just go dunk it.
We'll see.
Just go dunk it. So one of the things that I was talking to Clay last night, one of the things he said was like, man, we're in a rut.
Did you ever file a column, by the way?
Man, it's up. It's live. Okay, it's already cranking. Okay. He said,
I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning looking for it.
He said, this is what we do. Yeah. Like, wow. Like, we've done all this.
This is what you do?
No, they win. Like, they perform in the playoffs. They show up. Mm-hmm. I got it felt like he was saying, why is everybody overreacting?
Yeah.
Is there something to it? Like, have they earned some benefit of the doubt here?
I think if it stops now, yes.
I think if it stops after the break.
Yeah, but they tank the next 2 games. I mean, 3 games they got left. I don't know. I think they got a ton of games left still before the break. But if they draw the line and come back and then get back the number 1 seed, then whatever. This is what they have done. But they have never lost quite like this, where they've dropped games throughout the season. They've never been super this season. They've been good. They've never been super. So you have that already. Like, wait a minute, they're dropping games at home that they shouldn't be dropping. And then you have
big games too. Yeah, games they get up for.
Oklahoma City. I'm certainly not writing them off. You're not writing them off. This is a little different though. I mean, this is potentially a team that's worn down. And do you know when they're going to not be worn down? You don't. And do they know? They don't. So
there's a chance if they flip that switch in April, the lights might not come on.
Yeah, or come in a limited way. So they're staggering through the second round. If they get Oklahoma City in the second round, it's going to be a long series. And they stagger through that, and they get the Houston in the third, and they stagger through that. They're going to be right for the picking. So we don't know.
Or they go 16-2 in the playoffs, and we're like,
they play us back this podcast, and they make fun of us. Patrick McCaw, MVP of the finals. But we don't know. So you can't just say, oh, absolutely we know that this is not a big deal. I will say if they get through this and then win 10-1, like we always think they're going to, then, yeah, they have the right to say that, but they don't know for sure because it hasn't been like this. Where what we've always said, when there's a game you underline, when there's a game you talk about, they win that game.
They don't care about those games.
And that hasn't happened anymore. That hasn't happened
That do it for them anymore.
Oklahoma City and Houston know that for sure. They're underlining these games, and they're winning them. Warriors have not.
All right, that'll do it. Warriors plus minus.
We did not get snuck up on by any Warriors about to be traded.
They know better.
Yeah, they're a little afraid of us. All right, see you.